Lifting the Veil. In conclusion, this book, although not a full forest of information, can hopefully contain all that potential forest energy into a more concentrated seed form. A cornerstone of information to foster further exploration and intuition. It is intended, through the changes you are able to make, to show the way out of disease, to show the way to the first and most fundamental rule of medicine: first, do not harm. Many of these changes will create immediate results. Other changes will take time. If applied, these ideas and precisions can bring us back to full health and clarity along with the subsequent parts of this trilogy. I wish to emphasize the importance of questioning the ocean of unre-verified ideas in which we bathe to better understand the value of our traditions and to repair our perceptions of worldwide traditional cultures, including our ancestors and also the Native Americans. My 4 times great-grandmother was 100% Native American, and I feel deeply connected to this story. I also wanted to point out the profound value of nutrition as the cornerstone of our physical health. However, for any honest appraisal, we must consider both sides. So to be fair, these native cultures also had their share of warlike tribalism, animalism, putting the animal soul and its worship on the same level as the human spirit, and many of their own issues and divisions before others even came to the Americas. They were divided and pitted to varying sides of conflicts from the very beginning, and they were not spiritually unified as a people. So I do believe that America, where the greatest level of freedom and enthusiasm can be enjoyed today, I say this after 15 years in Europe, was part of a greater plan. I side with her history, creation, and overall goodness, yet without losing the wisdom gained by the Native Americans and also our own European ancestors, as much of our traditions come from their experience. I see some sadness looking back when I think of how those who think they control the world have always sought to divide everyday people from each other, and we keep walking into their snares. But to be honest, I see much more beauty in how such a great experiment fought its way through the trap and has brought greater freedom to the world. A beauty that the controlled media narrative tries to destroy by trying to get us to hate our history, our country, and finally, each other. The word apocalypse comes from the Greek and means the unveiling. I personally believe that we are lifting the veil of our illusions. As we wake up, we will see the negative and positive paths reveal themselves at the same time. There is on the one hand the dark side of reality with the desires of the tortured quote-unquote elite, which have both political parties in their pocket for total control of the people and our planet's resources, and on the other hand, we who endure will see and understand with wonder and awe our true history, how we are all interconnected, and our true destiny. What sometimes seems to be an outer human tragedy is in truth the preparation of an inner spiritual awakening. About this book, my advice is this: take what resonates with you and leave the rest. It was written with many levels of experience which may work better at different times for different people, and different levels of body healing. If I made any peripheral errors, I ask you to forgive me because my primary intention is to direct you back to yourself and your inner guide, your own heart-mind intuition. The roots of our traditions are rooted in a deep resonance with nature, without which we cannot live. But inner nature, our spirituality, precedes outer nature. Potential energy precedes material form. Our inner nature is our true self. A profound listening happens here when we connect with our true self and purpose in this life. The solution to our problems lies not in the individual, but in the totality of individuals. In this sense, we can say that our solution is a power greater than the individual. The connection to this higher power, of each his own definition, is the source of abundant life, of heartfelt connection with others, the joy of living. The key is to keep an open mind. For the more we close our minds, the more our point of view becomes a prison. And the more we open our mind, reconsider, face our own shortcomings, and admit errors when we find them, the more we grow spiritually, with greater understanding and effectiveness. Through facing our powerlessness, that deep emotion, we allow new power and humility into the system. Unity cannot always be maintained in the outer world. That is why healthy separation, healthy boundaries, and self-respect are essential going forward. We should no longer, in the name of virtue or compassion, enable others to repeatedly cross our boundaries. Our thinking must allow us to be flexible yet firm if needed. Thinking becomes filled with the Spirit as we move across the threshold of the binary mode of thinking of the past to the new paradigm, the Spirit-infused, unified, trinary thinking of the future. We become capable of holding apparent contradictions within ourselves, which allows for a deeper, more stable harmony to emerge. We free ourselves from division. We let go of our old ideas. This is the beginning of that great journey on the highway of humility. We encourage each other, but are not afraid to challenge each other. Encouragement, which is rooted in compassion, and challenging each other, which is rooted in truth, makes us stronger and more resilient when combined. It is an enhancement. We don't seek to change each other to our liking, but to try our best to enhance ourselves and each other by coming from a deeper, more unified frequency which has been won through much self-work, challenge, and solitude. This allows others to go deeper in themselves too and find strength. It's an inside job, an individual adventure. We try our best, and we forgive ourselves along the way. From this foundation, we can make the world a better place. I do not see the whole world awakening into utopia as some imagine it. I see small, dedicated, unselfish communities like salt upon the earth. The earth may degenerate, and the outer world may be less capable of quenching our thirst, but I see a great vista on the front porch of the inner world opening up. An inner future, where we can match serenity with calamity even in the most sordid place on earth. We become who we are, no longer overly dependent on the external, material world, because we have at last the unshakable connection to our higher power and true self. This serenity does not depend on outer conditions or circumstance. It comes from the sunlit source of unconditional love. And if you get lost along the way, listen to these words in your heart. They can strengthen you. To thine own self be true.